Welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. The camera seems a little bit slow this. What's going on here? Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're just right out of the gate. It's very strange. There we go. I think we're good now. Everything seems okay. Sorry about that. That was a little awkward. What are you guys up to this fine Wednesday morning? Well, this fine Wednesday. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Looks like Paul's here. Paul's here bright and early. Good morning, Paul. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Well, let's see here. Trying to figure out what might be going on with this stream here. I'm not sure what. Maybe we're having some internet difficulties. I'm not really sure. But my apologies. Right on. Paul says, relaxing and working on leg to get it back up. Right on, man. I'm glad to hear that. I'm hoping everything went well for you. And wish you a speedy recovery, for sure. Oh, there's Brian. Brian's here. I keep kicking the camera or something. Sorry about that. Whoops. Brian says, hi, Jeff and everyone. I hope you are all well. We're doing good, man. How are you doing? Hopefully everything is going amazing. Paul, thanks. You're welcome, man. Speedy recovery so you can get back at it. Guys, let me know if you're seeing like weird lag issues or something, because it seems like something's acting a little wonky, but we're gonna get through it. You guys just let me know. If you can't tell, it looks a little bit brighter in here, finally. I had some lights that burnt out and finally got them replaced. So now we're back to, well, my head's shiny. We're back to having light again. Let's see here. Brian says, I'm well. All the family has left after my daughter's graduation. Sanity has been restored. Yeah, I know what you mean there. It's always great when you have a lot of family visiting, or maybe you're visiting family, and it's like, it's great to be able to hang out with the family, but it gets kind of wild and crazy, and then when everything cools off, you're just kind of like, ah. Right on, Brian. Cool. All right, so let's see. What in the world is going on around here? If you guys happen to see my Instagram post this morning, I posted about the little cows that I made. I talked about them last week in the live just a little bit. I'm going to see if I can lift this guy up and show you what I've been working on. And I'm almost done editing the video. Come here, little guy. Don't you kick me. My little cow. Check him out. Made out of some 2x6s and a piece of reclaimed fence post. And these little dudes are going to be used for some horse show events. Obstacles and little training things. They're going to get... Well, this one's still missing 2 back legs, but ended up making 3 of these guys. They're going to get pulled behind horses and also used as obstacles and stuff for some upcoming horse show things. So this was actually really fun. I almost wasn't going to do a video on that, on making these guys, but I'm glad I did, because I had a lot of fun putting them things together. Even though he kicked me in the head, there's a little tender spot on my forehead where he kicked me. And yeah, I wish that I got that exact moment on camera, but I didn't. Working on bolting the legs on, and I was tightening it up, or I don't even remember exactly how it happened, but I ended up pulling one of the legs, and it hit me in the head. And Yeah, that hurt a lot. It's one of those deals where you ever get hit in the head so hard that you see that bright flash of light. That's what I got off of that deal. But unfortunately, it was right when I was changing camera angles. So I had just stopped the camera recording, whacked myself in the head, and then turned it back on. Oh well, anyway. I'm almost done editing the video for this. I'm going to plan to get the video out this weekend. That's my goal. And you can see these little guys being brought to life. Neptunes is here. Neptunes, hello everyone. Neptunes, what's up, buddy? How are you doing this fine Wednesday? Brian says the cow's pretty cool. Thanks. It was fun. I enjoyed making those guys. And kind of excited to see them get put to use. And Neptune says, no means no. Hairy dude! What's up? Greetings all, says the hairy dude. What's up, man? How's, oh, welcome to winter, officially, down there. We're officially in summer, and I'm still officially in a sweatshirt. Oh, boy. Tony's here! Tony says, morning! Good morning, Tony. How are you doing this Wednesday morning? Wednesday. Let's just leave it at that. Because it's not morning for everyone. It's morning for me. And I hope your day is going great. Let's just leave it at that. Cool. Yeah, so I just finished up these cows. And like I said, editing the video. And I also got started on, let me see if I can grab this. I'm getting started with this fun process of carving the braces. I think so far in this acoustic process, at this exact moment, this is so far my least favorite process. But I've only got these two just rough carved. I've only done a little bit. I got to get a little bit more in on it, but I think so far this is, I don't know why it's not my favorite. Maybe it's because I've only done two of them, but working on these kind of here and there, you know, doesn't take all that long, just paring it down with a chisel. I feel like I should have pre-shaped these ahead of time. It probably would have been a little easier. But trying to follow along with, I don't know, maybe the traditional methods, but slowly working on getting the braces carved. I wasn't going to do a video on this originally, but I think I might cover it a little bit. I'm going to do a few of these first just to get a feel for it, and then I might do maybe the last one, just kind of a quick video on shaping these braces, but we're getting there. Slowly but surely. There is just a lot of work that goes into this sort of thing, especially when you're learning it as you go, like I am. So I don't know. I want to know from you guys. Do you want to see any sort of video that covers any of this, the carving of the braces? And I really like the sound that this makes. It's just like a drum. It rings like a drum. So, but you guys let me know if you want to see a little bit of the process for shaping these braces. I'll surely do a video on that if it's something you guys want to see. But just you got to keep in mind, I'm learning this as we go. Alrighty, let's see. Neptune says, doing good. Took the wife's new car for its first routine service. Ooh. Nice. You're not servicing it yourself? Tony says, doing some glue ups. Nice. What are you making, Tony? What are you working on? What sort of glue ups are you doing? Neptune says, I had no idea that there was that much that went into building an acoustic guitar. I guess maybe I didn't either. I mean, I know there's a fair amount of work in there. You know, a lot of things that have to happen. But until you actually get into it, I didn't realize it was to the extent that it really is. But it's all a learning process, you know, especially on this first one for me anyway. I gotta learn the whole process, and I know that there's probably some shortcuts, maybe some easier things to do in there, but until I do the first one, I don't really know which way I need to go. So I am enjoying the learning process and each piece along the way, but there's a lot of steps in there. There's a lot. And it's kind of cool, really. Something I was doing the other day, being able to take something like this, and look at a factory made acoustic guitar, and to see all of the basically the same, you know, the same parts and pieces. You can, you know, peer inside the acoustic and you can see the back strip, and you can see, you know, all the braces and stuff in it. And yeah, now I really have a lot more grasp, but I'm nowhere near done. But I have a lot bigger grasp on what really goes into it. Now I'm sure the factories, you know, they probably have automation and jigs and fixtures and stuff like that, and who knows, maybe they even CNC some of the parts. Um, but yeah, it's really cool. Tony says, making a bedside table for the grandson and an entry table for my daughter. Awesome, man. That is cool. I think it's really cool to be able to, you know, use our skills to build things for, you know, for our families. You know, hopefully one day we'll be able to build some things for my daughter's house when she has a, you know, or when she has a place of her own in like 50 years when she's allowed to. Yeah, but I just think that's so cool. You know, something to be able to make stuff like you're doing, you know, that they can use in their homes, and, you know, and have potentially forever. It's really cool, and like I said, I can't wait to be able to do that myself. Um, Speaking of tables, I think I mentioned this last week, or maybe in some of the past couple weeks. I can't remember, but I have coming up anyway, a coffee table and two end tables that I need to make, for it's a commission project for a friend of mine. Um, but it's just, you know, it's going to be, coffee, you know, basic coffee table, made out of probably walnut with some welded steel legs of some sort. We're still working out some of the dimensions and stuff like that, and then you know, start getting the materials. So I'll be working on that probably. I don't know. I would imagine next month. So that'd be kind of cool. Get to fire up the welder. Haven't done that in a little while. Neptune says, "Hate to go, but the car is done." Well, that's all right, man. You got to take care of the car. No worries. I'm glad you're able to stop in for a few, and hope you have a great day. Hopefully, you guys are not roasting down there in the heat, because we're not up here. And we're back to water because someone drank all the coffee already. This guy. But Neptunes, no worries, my friend. Have a great day. Cool. Right on. Alrighty. So we are up to speed, I think, as to what's going on around here. Let's talk about chisel sharpening. What? I gotta touch this one up. It's got a little nick out of it. So, since I am carving the braces, I have been doing a bit of sharpening. And I am not a pro at sharpening. I can get it nice and sharp. Boy, that looks pretty bad, actually. See that nick out of there? I want to know, what is your guys' process? What sort of, do you use a jig when you're sharpening a chisel? And how do you do it? I'll cover the way I do it. Mine's pretty simple, I think. But I want to know from you guys. Do you use one of those like Tormek deals or those powered things? I don't. So while you guys are letting me know what works for you, my process for sharpening a chisel, I do use one of those guides, those little roller guide thingies, technical term. Um, and I have this cast iron. This is a new method for me. I have a cast iron table that came out of a print shop. Believe they're called like a turtle table, and it's cast iron, and it is pretty much dead flat. And it's probably, I don't know, maybe 24 by 24. What I have found to work really well for chisels, hand planes, any of that sort of thing, is I'll take a piece of, I'll just use sandpaper. I can use magnets since it's cast iron, and magnet the sandpaper to the top, and I'll use that guide. And then when I need to switch to the next grit, I just pull the magnets off, magnet down the next one, and it seems to be working very well. And it's super quick, super easy to do. I don't have to dig out, sharpening stones and all that kind of thing, or even have a piece of tile or something, or a piece of plate glass like a lot of people do. I've done that on several chisels in the last week or so, and it seems to work really well. It's really awesome to be able to just pull the magnets, put on a new piece of sandpaper, go to the next grit, and it's been working really well for me. But I'm sure there's always room for improvement. That's what I want to know from you guys. So like I said, since I've been carving the braces, these things got to be really sharp, and this one still is sharp, but just that nick on there on the end. You see that nick right? It's a little blurry, but there you go. You can kind of, well, you can't see it. Come on, focus. Anyway, you get the idea. I have spent quite a bit of time trying to get these things like razor sharp, and the surface looks nice, but now that weird chip in there, I'm gonna have to retouch this up. Always something, isn't there? Watch and learn, Thomas. What's up, buddy? Thomas says, "Hi, Jeff. What's going on, man? Just talking about sharpening chisels because I've been carving braces, or just starting carving my braces on the acoustic, and just wanted to hear what everybody's preferred method is." Paul says, "I built my sharpening jig, planes and chisels, using plans I bought from John Hayes. It works great." I think I've seen his method before. Yeah, I'm always looking for what's easiest and quickest. That may be not the right way, but you can buy one of the sharpening machines, but yeah. I'm always trying to figure out a way I can much quicker. I can sharpen. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. The machines I think would be cool. If my thing is I always am trying to find a way to work a system into what I have, right? If I had a spot where I could have a dedicated sharpening bench, that would be ideal for, well, probably all of us, really. But I just don't have room to leave a thing set up. So I'm trying to find methods that I can quickly set up, quickly get a job done, and move on. And with a sharpening machine, with the limited space that I have, it would be something that I would have to store away. And when I need to sharpen, I got to dig it out. So guess what? I'm not going to end up digging it out. Therefore, I'm probably not going to have my tools as sharp as they need to be. And I don't want to. I'm trying to not operate that way. So by having this method that I've been using lately with the magnets, and this cast iron top that I have, it's really quick and simple. I can just grab the jig, magnet down a paper, do the work that I need to do, And so far that's been working. But yeah, this is actually probably the sharpest I've ever had all of my cutting tools at one time. Usually I'll just put a rough edge on there and it gets the job done for whatever it is I'm trying to do. But like I said, working on this guitar, I really am trying to keep my tools. I'm trying to do better at keeping my tools sharper and maintained a lot better. So I think we're on the right track, but there's still room for improvement. Let's see. Thomas says I do work sharp for my chisels and then some 3000 grit wet dry. So you bring up a good point. I better set this down before I stab myself in the leg. How high of a grit do you guys go when you're sharpening? When I did the last round that I did, I think I went to 1500, maybe 2000. I don't know if maybe I went to 2000. Do you guys find the need, or do you find that it is an advantage to go higher than 1500, 2000 grit? For me personally, like if I'm sharpening a knife or something like that, I usually won't go past 1500. I have stones, I think they're 1500 grit. I don't know. If you guys think there is an advantage to going higher, I'd love to hear, because I'm always trying to, like I said, trying to figure out how to do it better and make my tools sharper and more refined. But I don't know. I know I have 2000. I may have some 2500, but I know I don't have anything higher than 2500. And honestly, I don't know if it's necessary. It might be. I don't know. Brian says, do you sharpen your planes the same way? Recently, yes. I really just kind of stumbled on this magnet to the cast iron thing just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's something I've been playing around with, and so far I'm liking it. And I've done a couple of my hand planes the same way, and it seems to work just fine. The key, I think, is the piece, whatever you're using, no matter the system, the surface has to be flat, right? That's why a lot of people use plate glass or a piece of tile from the hardware store. But I think if you have a saw with a cast iron top, I think that method would probably work for you. Double check it with a known straight edge. Make sure that the thing is dead flat as you can find. And you, with a cast iron table saw, cast iron, I don't know, maybe even I'll bet you can do it with a bandsaw. My bandsaw's got a small cast iron table. I bet you that would work too, and I never thought about that. Huh. That's an idea. There you go. Pro tip. If you have a tool surface with a cast iron top, try that. Get you some little magnets. I have, a couple of these like hard drive magnets, as well as these little disc magnets. These aren't quite strong enough, but I do have some neodymium, however you say that, about 3/4 inch round magnets. And those a combination of those, stick your paper down there. It works really well. And then I give it a couple passes on the old strop. Let's see here. Robert's here. Robert says, hello, people. Robert says the audio is a bit low, or at least fading in and out. Whoa. Well, my apologies for that. As soon as I went live on this, I was experiencing some sort of, I don't know, internet trolls. Not trolls. Gremlins. That's it. But it seems, on my end, it seems like it's working okay. I might need to try. I got to get a cable, one of those cables for the iPad, so I can plug a shotgun mic into it. Maybe I should try that. Robert says, maybe have a board with different stones set into the board with a hook on the edge to hold it. Yes, I've seen some systems like that, and they look really cool. My thing is, I don't have those stones, so I'd have to go buy the stones, and I'm trying to use what I have, and that's why I've been talking about like the sandpaper and stuff. Paul says 400 and 1500. Yeah, see, I go to 1500, and it seems to be working okay. There's Mike. Mike's here. Mike says, good morning. Mike is 20 minutes late. No worries, Mike. We're still here, buddy. Robert says, last step, you should have a leather strap on a board with some polishing compound and polish the burr off the ends. Yep, that's what I got. Let's see. Backwoods Boy Small Engine says, hello, everyone. What's up, man? Welcome. Mike says, we are trolls. No, I wasn't calling you trolls. I was saying there was some sort of bugs, gremlins, that were causing the stream to do some weird stuff as soon as I went live. I was not implying that anyone was a troll. That's why I retracted that. Gremlins was the word I was trying to think of. Robert says, I boosted my audio to hear it better. Right on. Yeah, sorry again, Robert. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, I gotta experiment with a different microphone, and maybe that'll help in future episodes. Our Harry Dude says, good topic. Getting into sharpening for my chisels and soon my planes. Was going to set up Robert's suggestion, but thinking the table saw deck is a good option. Yeah, and that's something that really I just kind of thought about, because I hadn't. I'd just been thinking about this cast iron table, but as we were talking about this, a lot of the tools have a cast iron surface. A jointer. You got a jointer with a cast iron bed? Man, there's tons of tools. Why didn't I think of that before? I could have used that. Huh. Isn't that weird how well, my mind anyway, I don't think about that sort of thing, but I have this other cast iron table, and I found that it works really well, but I never thought about the drill press or the jointer. Man, my saw doesn't have a cast iron top, but yeah, I think that's a good option. Just magnet your piece on there. Yeah, before, let's see, in the past I've used, I have a piece of plate steel that's been Blanchard ground flat, and I've used that for sharpening. I've used a little, pieces of stone tile, but those are all things that, like I said earlier, that I have to get out. Yes, it's not a lot of work to go get out a little piece of tile and stick some sandpaper to it, but I still have to go to a drawer, pull out the thing. Now that I've thought about this a little bit, my bandsaw that never gets put away, my jointer doesn't get put away. That surface is always there. If you just keep you could even stick some magnets to the tool so that you could just walk up and stick the piece down, do your honing, and wow, yeah. For me, that's the key to being able to keep a chisel nice and sharp. I don't want a big complicated system that becomes a process to use. Again, and this is just for me in my workshop, right? So you guys, I'm sure, have processes that work for you, and I'm not knocking them at all, but I'm just saying, I know me, and if it's a big ordeal to dig out the sharpening stones, and you got to get this out, and you got to get that out, I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna end up resorting to some sort of technique that doesn't really give me a good edge, but just enough to get by. And like I said, I'm trying to improve from the just getting by stage. So that's why I've been trying different things to just make it easier. If I already have a simple process, I don't have to drag out a bunch of things. I know that it's something that I will do more. And that's what I'm finding with this. Being able to just magnet a piece down. The only thing I have to get is the honing guide. And so far it's working really well. Yeah, so Harry Dude, I think you got a cast iron surface somewhere. I think that would work really well. And like I said, I've done it on a couple of these hand plane blades, and I've done it on a couple of chisels. I've done it on, I don't know, three chisels or so, and it so far seems to be working good. Mike says joking. I know, buddy, but I've felt better clarifying. Harry Dude says I got a stone plate I got from an old oven that I used to file guitar nuts on. Should use that. Oh yeah, see, that would work. From an oven, is it like a pizza stone? Just double check that it's nice and flat. Robert says, one thing to think about is cost over time. A good set of stones, maybe diamond stones, will last and over time be less expensive. Robert, that's a very good point. Yes, the stones, the good stones that I've looked at are very, very expensive. But from what you said, yes, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to last, a lifetime or close to it. So if you kind of, weigh that out, yeah, it's probably nowhere near as bad. So yes, that is a very good point, and just what's gonna work in everyone's budget and situation and all that sort of thing. So good point, Robert. Yeah, I agree. For me, I've always got wet dry paper, for doing guitars and that sort of thing. So I've always got the paper, but you do have to replace it. And once I've sharpened a chisel on it, I'm not going to use it for something else. So yeah, so there is some cost there, right? So you're going through the sandpaper to where, yeah, Robert, you might be onto something there. You're not going to throw the stones away after a use. A sheet of sandpaper is considerably less than, an expensive set of diamond stones, but I am going to throw that paper away when I'm done with it, most likely, because it gets clogged up. But yeah, you just pros and cons. Another thing that I've tried, if you guys, those of you that have been following along for a while, you remember several years ago, I built a belt grinder, and I use that. I use it all the time for different things. Something else I've been thinking about is making a jig of some sort that will allow me to basically, use the belt grinder for it. That'll hold it at the, 30, 25 degree, 30 angle, 30 degree angle, something like that, maybe even adjustable. That would be the fastest, I think. But I just haven't gotten around to doing a video on that. I have tried freehand on a junk chisel. Well, these are almost junk chisels anyway, but on one that was even more junk chisel. And it did what it was supposed to do. I needed a lot more practice to try to be able to do that freehand. But that's another option. If you've got some sort of abrasive belt sander sort of thing, is there something you can do there? There may be. They might be able to use that. I know that my grinder will make this sharper if I can hold it at the right angle. Then probably I can do by hand. I would think, because you can get all kinds of belts. I've got a leather stropping belt on there that I use a fair bit. But there's just so many methods and techniques that work for everyone. It's hard to figure out, to find your process. At least that's my experience anyway. I've tried a lot of different ways, and right now for me the easiest is what I was talking about with the cast iron. So that's what I'm going to stick with. But I do want to explore the options for the belt grinder, because I think that could be a good alternative. Mike says, at some point I would like your opinion on painting my guitar build. Placed a maple cap on an alder body. Would like to tape off the maple to give it the look of binding. We'll post more on the Facebook page. Right on. Well, Mike, we can just jump right into that right now, because I think I've done several guitars exactly like you're talking about. Now, a couple more details. Are you going to actually paint it, or are you going to do like a dye, or what exactly you're going to do? Because, well, I don't think it's going to change my answer too much. What I would do, I was trying to see if I had, I don't have any up there. What I think I would do, and what I have done, if you're going to, if you're worried about color bleeding, what you can do is tape around the body on the sides, right? And leave only the strip of the binding edge. Mike says dyes will spread into the maples, so paint. Okay. You can do it though, just as a side note. You can do it without the dye bleeding, and I've done a few as well. I think I've got a video on there. It's going to be the green, the green one I did about 2 years ago. I think I did a video on that, how to do it with the dye without bleeding. But anyway, if you want to seal that first, and I've done a couple this way, and I've also done a couple without. So if you wanted to seal that edge first, tape around your body on the sides, leaving just that strip. And then you can go in with a little small brush. I don't even have any of those either. Little small brush, and paint some sanding sealer on there. Then you can peel the tape, and that's gonna basically seal that grain, which will help prevent the dye from getting in there. Now, if you're gonna paint it, I probably, I almost think I might seal it as well. Then you can take it off, tape just the binding, and then do your painting. Then you can peel the tape, which should leave you a nice, crisp maple faux binding. Then you can clear coat the whole thing together, and it should give you the results you're looking for. Now, the last couple of guitars I've done with faux binding, I did not use the sanding sealer first. I just used some. I just applied the dye, but when you apply the dye to the top, I never ever start at the edge, because this is going to be a crude representation. So let's say that this is the surface of your guitar, and here's your edge, right? So let's just pretend, this is going to be really weird, but pretend that the edge of the leather is your fake binding. When you start anything at the edge, right, the corner acts as a wiper. So you've just dipped your rag or your towel or brush or whatever into your dye. When you start at the edge, it's going to pool that there, cause it to run down the side, which is going to soak into your binding. That's what we want to avoid. And that's also what the sanding sealer helps reduce. It doesn't allow the dye to soak into that end grain. So I always start in the center and go off that edge, right? So you always go like up and off as you get to the end, right? So you may be using a lot of pressure in the center, but as I get to the end, I'm going to use lighter pressure, and I'm like lifting up and away from that corner. And you may have to go in and do some extra application around the edge, but that's kind of the motion. Like, I'm coming to the edge, I'm lifting up, and it doesn't allow it to pool on the edge. And I also don't use a really soaked rag or cloth near the edge. If you want to get a little heavier with it in the middle with whatever color you're doing, you can, there's some leeway there. But when it comes to that edge, I'm always being very conscious of what I'm doing, and I'm never, even a circular motion on the edge, because I don't want to pull back against that corner. That's where you get the pooling, that's where you get runs down the side, and that's where you get the staining on your end grain. I've got I think a couple videos talking about that in different stages. But that's how I do it, and I've found that as long as I'm very careful and I take my time and I'm always conscious of which way I'm going toward that corner, you can do it perfectly fine. Get it nice and clean. Even if you get like some tiny bit of not runs. Runs are gonna, you really don't want to get a run. But if you get a little bit of dye creep, usually you can take a little sandpaper and just lightly clean that up. So that's what's been working pretty good for me. Robert says, one of the people I've watched on sharpening tools is after the first prep, he can sharpen his tools in just a few moments. I think it's Rod Cosman. I've heard of several people doing that. I'm familiar with Rob's work as well. Yeah, once you get the angles and everything where they are, from there, you have to maintain them. That's where like this, just a strop, it really works well. For me, my problem is I wait too long in between, and then I end up having to resharpen like this one, with that chip in there. So now I gotta put this back on the stone and take it down. So probably something in there that I've done incorrectly, causing it to get a nick. But yeah, once you get it sharp, if you maintain it, that you can go a lot longer between sharpening before you actually have to go back and actually resharpen it. Dastardly Dave, sup all? What's up, Dave? Robert says one issue with power sharpening is excessive heat and messing up the temper. Yes, agreed. You have to be very, very aware. Very, you got to pay attention, basically. Robert, let's see. Sorry, it scrolled on me. Getting caught back up. So Mike there, hopefully that helps you out here. Raphael says, hello, dude. It's been a while. Hope all is good, brother. Right on, man. It has been a while. We're doing good here. I hope you're doing the same. Hope you're having an awesome day. Raylyn says, good morning. Good morning, Raylyn. How are you this fine Wednesday? Robert says another YouTuber that has some good videos on sharpening both plane blades and chisels is Paul Sellers. Yes. We talked about him, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Yes. Paul's got some... I love his way of teaching. There's something about it. Yeah, he's got some really good information out there. Robert says also on masking off for faux binding, instead of using regular masking tape, you might try using a vinyl automotive tape. Yeah, that's true. Like I don't have any at the moment. Yes, if you go to like an automotive supply house paint shop, they have a lot of even their masking tape is really good stuff. You get like the good 3M stuff if you're looking for a really good crisp edge paint, crisp edge tape. There's something that maybe you guys don't know. Maybe you do. I don't know. Not all tape has the exact same edge. There is some, like if you look at the edge of like a regular blue painter's tape that myself and probably a lot of us use, the edge is not as crisp as some of the really high quality 3M tape. I think the green, like the light green tape, which I don't have any of at the moment. I believe, I could be wrong, or maybe it's a different method, but I believe it's like a laser cut edge or something like that, and it is like dead straight. And you can look at it and you can see that there's definitely a difference. Yes, when you roll off a piece of blue painter's tape, it's nice and straight. But if you compare it to some of these other ones that have a lot finer edge, there's definitely a difference. So if whatever you're working on requires, that super, super fine edge, look at getting some better quality tape. But yeah, if an automotive paint supply shop, they'll have several different kinds in there, and you can look at them. You can feel the edge of a roll, like you can feel that the painter's tape kind of feels rolled over. And I think that's probably because it's probably cut with some sort of rotary knife. I'm guessing. I don't really know that for a fact. But there's something different about this, about the upper quality tape. Yes, it costs a little more, but it's good stuff if you need it. Hey, look, Neptune says, hey, I'm back. Welcome back. Raylan says, looks like some of my chisels. Yeah, that's what we've been kind of talking about here, trying to figure out, they're just talking about different processes for sharpening. I can't get it to focus on there. It just doesn't want to. Yeah, it's nice and sharp, but it's got a nick out of it, so I got to clean that up because I'm working on carving the acoustic guitar braces. Mike says, I'll think on it. Thanks. No problem, Mike. You just let me know if you have more questions, because I've definitely done several guitars with the same kind of faux binding. Robert says that chip may be because the chisel steel may be too brittle. It could be. These are nowhere near high quality chisels. These are, I don't know. They're not great, but that's what I have, so that's what I'm using. I probably ought to just go and get a good set of chisels one of these days and use them for like the special jobs. But yeah, these are not great. Plastic handle. What are these? Craftsman chisels. But they're working. But maybe my favorite. Talk about oh, that's probably why. This one, I don't even know what this is. I don't know if that's an older Stanley or what. This thing I've been using quite a lot. Do you want to know a secret? I found this in the road. I found this chisel laying in the road or along the side of the road. And it's bent. I don't know if you can see that. Like, there's a little bend, but I've sharpened it up, and it is quite sharp. I don't have any scrap here handy. Maybe I do. Let's see. I mean, it works well. It's yeah, it's the narrowest one that I have. That's kind of why I'm using it. And for quite a while, this is one of those that's just been. I threw it in the drawer. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I found a chisel along the road, right? But now I've used it on several things for this guitar. And so I took a little time the other day and actually sharpened it on my cast iron deal that we were just talking about. But how many of you use chisels that you found along the side of the road? Barbarian says, hello, good sir. What's up? What's up, Barbarian? Aurelian says, doing good. Still busy? Have you heard of Lansky? It's a knife chisel sharpening system. I use that and it works great. I've also done hand plane blades. I have a Lansky, and for a lot of years, I really liked the Lansky. I've never tried it for like plain blades. I've used it for pocket knives. Probably, I think the first time I used it, I was probably, I don't know, 13 years old or something. So it's been a while. And yes, I have one. Really like the Lansky system. I've not tried it. How would you do it on chisels? I don't know how you would do that. How do you do it on it? Have you used it for chisels, or is there a different system maybe that I'm not aware of? Look at that, somebody filed the end on that. A little bit crooked. Here you can kind of see it in the reflection. It's kind of goes at an angle. That's probably me. Actually, you know what? I think that is because the blade's bent. So when I was filing it with the guide, yeah, it's still sharp. It's fine. Mike says, will do. There's some nuances I need to describe. Okay. I will keep an eye out. I will try to help as best I can. KK says good evening from Greece to you, my friend Jeff, and to all the good friends of the show. I hope you are well there, because here we have become like grilled burgers from the heat. Well, I hope you're not like a charred burger. Burger sounds good though. Doesn't that sound good? Might have to make some for lunch. Well, KK, I hope you're doing good, my friend. Try to stay cool over there. Unfortunately, we haven't quite gotten, yesterday was the first day of summer, and it was a little bit cool here. But that's okay. Oh, KK. Right on. Now you got me hungry for burgers. Side note, what's your favorite cheese on a burger? Ready, set, go. Barbarian Blood says, definitely a Stanley. That's what I was thinking. It doesn't say Stanley on there anywhere. At least not that I can see. But it sure looks like one to me. Found in the road. Can't beat it, right? Robert says, you might want to build a rack for your chisels so they don't rattle around in a drawer. I can cause them to dull also, just like knives in a kitchen drawer. Yeah, I know that's something I need to do. This one, I have not put away. It's just been sitting on the back of the bench since I sharpened it because I need to make a rack to stick them in. Yeah, I know they shouldn't be rattling in a drawer. Or maybe I need to make a chisel roll. Maybe that's what I should do. A little tool roll kind of thing, just so they can go in. That'd be a good quick leather project. What do you guys think? Should we do that? Not like right this second, but soon. Build a little chisel holder roll thingy. I might have to. I got a bunch of leather left over yet. I keep trying to find uses for. Good call, Robert. I gotta think about that. I might have to make a little chisel roll thingy. Raylan says Swiss. Oh, I like Swiss cheese on there. Not a fan of Swiss by itself, like plain, but I like it on stuff. Neptune's Pepper Jack. Oh, that one's gonna. Pepper Jack wins for me over Swiss. Harry Dude says, KK, I'm jealous. Cold here in Australia. Yeah, KK, Harry Dude does not like the cold, so I'm sure he would gladly take some of your heat. Barbarian Blood says, maybe a bootleg Stanley. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could very well be, but it's definitely similarly styled. I'll just keep using it. Robert says, that would work also. Neptune says, I'd like to get some good Japanese kitchen knives, but I don't want to spend that kind of money, and my wife gets her hands on them. I am of a little bit different opinion on kitchen knives. Kind of like my found on the road chisels. For me, I have really no expensive kitchen knives. Now, I'm sure there's some advantages that I'm not aware of at the moment, but maybe they hold an edge longer, or whatever. But for me, I find a knife that I like, and I don't care if it's cheap and chintzy, and I keep them sharp, and they work amazing for me. I have no desire to go and buy, hundreds of dollars worth of kitchen knives when mine are very sharp and they cut awesome. So for me, I don't even get worked up about them. I don't even look at them. Like I know people that, you might be over at their house or whatever, and they're like, oh, here, use this fancy, I don't know, whatever knife. And the thing is so dull, it won't even cut, a piece of bread without mashing it to bits. And I'm like, this is a $200 knife? I'm like, why? I got a $10 knife at home that you can shave with. So I never got the expensive kitchen knife thing. I just keep what I have sharp. I'm not saying they're not worth it, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't be awesome to have. So don't don't misunderstand. I'm not saying they're not great, but it's all about keeping them sharp. Because if it's, you can buy a $200 knife and let it get dull, never maintain it. It's still a dull knife, and I will never use it. But yeah, but having some good ones would probably be pretty cool. You just got to keep them sharp. KK says, we do have a lot of heat, 40 degrees Celsius. Everyone runs to the sea, but we who read about the university became real stakes. Because you couldn't go to the sea because you were studying. Is that what I'm getting? 40. Oh man, 40 Celsius, 104. Whew, it's pretty toasty, man. Right now we are only, well, right here is, let's see, about 17 Celsius here in the shop right now. About 66 degrees in here. This is not all that warm. It's not horrible, but man, 104. That's pretty. You stay cool, man. Lots of sunscreen for me, anyway. I wish it would kind of get warm around here. Robert says American cheese or Gouda. Ooh, Gouda's good. Yeah, I think for me, I like a regular old American cheese or the pepper jack. If I had to choose, I think I would go with pepper jack cheese. KK the hairy dude. Mike says, need the jet, take care of all chisels, should never be in the road. Sharp and in the shop. Yes, I agree. But when there's one in the road, that means it's like a treasure for me now. Robert says, about knives, just be careful on where you get them from. And I suggest being able to get them in your hands before you buy them. Spent way too much on a set online that were a scam. I agree with you. For me, I am totally the same way. I want to be able to hold it. I want to see how it's going to work. How many of you guys have grabbed a knife, maybe a new knife or something, and you go to cut something, right, on a cutting board, and you're smacking your knuckles into it because the handle is too close to the edge of the blade? That drives me nuts. I want to be able to cut without my hand hitting the cutting board. So it's got to have enough of a, I don't know what you call that, from the scoop up to the handle, so that it doesn't hit my knuckles. If it hits my knuckles while I'm chopping, that knife's out of here. That drives me nuts. Robert says pepper jack is good as well. KK says, yeah, American cheeseburger. Barbarian Blood says, yellow American all day. I don't eat meat anymore though, so veggie loser burgers it is. No, hey man, if no one's, you don't have to call it the loser burger. If that's your thing, you rock it. Can you still throw cheese on it though? Because yeah, yellow American it's right up there with the for the cheese for me. We always have, you know, the yellow American cheese in the house. Oh, I like mozzarella on a burger too. KK says, oh, Gouda, yes. Gouda is very Gouda. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Anyway, anything else on chisels and sharpening and that sort of thing? Knives. KK says, come on, friends, I started to get hungry now. Me too, man. It's not quite lunchtime yet, and I'm kind of wanting a hamburger. I think I know what I'm making for lunch. Only problem is I'm going to have to make it on the stove, because today would be good to make it on the grill. Someone's got to go get more propane. I'm out of propane for the grill. It's terrible. Robert says, I eat so much cheese, I think sometimes I must be part rat. Well, I would say you can't have too much cheese, but I think you probably can. Too much cheese is, you know, give you a stomach ache or something. Oh boy. Raylan says WorkSharp has a system very similar to Lansky. Interesting. I'm going to have to go on and look because there may be a system that I'm not familiar with from Lansky. The one I have is, you know, the L-shaped clamp deals with the little sharpening stones that guide, you know, that guide the thing. Are you talking about something different than that from Lansky? And if so, I need to know about that. KK, burgers and pizza and is it a turkey leg? Brian says throw an egg on top of it and it's a breakfast burger. Oh yeah, good call. Neptune says tacos for me today. Love me some tacos too. Paul says you guys have a great week. Gonna go crass. Right on, Paul. You get healed up, man, so you can get back at it. Thanks for stopping by. Harry Dude, combine chisels and cheeses, and you get cheesels. It's an Aussie snack. Really? What is it? Cheesels. I want some cheesels. Yeah, Neptune says too much cheese can get you all plugged up. Yeah, it's kind of where I was trying to go with it. Right on, guys. Well, now that we've talked about sharpening and chisels and that sort of stuff, I think it's about time to wrap this up because I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna have to go make some hamburgers. Barbarian Blood. We have Italian cheeseburgers here in Jersey. Delicious. In Jersey. What is an Italian cheeseburger? So I grew up in Pennsylvania, but I wasn't near Jersey or the city or anything. What is it? Italian cheeseburger. What's on it? I must know. KK says, gonna empty the fridge. That was it. The show's cooking today. Right on. Robert says to Brian, tried one of those types of burgers by accident with an egg. Other than it being messy, it did taste good. Raylan says no. Just saw the video this morning from Zach in the Wild. Knife sharpening that doesn't suck. Interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out. Barbarian says I'm in PA now. Right on. Say hello to my home state for me. But really, what is on an Italian cheeseburger? What's the difference? I must know these things. Dang, what was I just gonna say? I can't remember now. Oh well. Anyway. Well, guys, I think it's about time to wrap this up. I'm going to move on to probably touching up some chisels and maybe work on a little more brace carving. And I got to do some editing for the little wooden cow video, so you guys can check it out this weekend. Barbarian says sub roll, mozzarella, peppers, and onions. With the cheese? Wait, does it have a burger on it? I think I've had that. It sounds mighty familiar. It's like a burger and a sub roll. Is that what you're talking about? I think I have had that. Now Neptune says, I miss a good Italian hoagie. We can't get the right cold cuts here in my area of Texas. Barbarian says, in sauce or ketchup. Raylan, red sauce on an Italian. Yes, I think I've had that now that you describe that. It sounds, yes, quite familiar. It's been a while. Man, guys, this was a good one. We got to talk about some shop stuff, and we talked about some food, and now I'm super hungry. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Speaking of the weird burgers, we have this burger place here, I think, in Colorado Springs. It might be a chain, I don't know. But they have all kinds of goofy burgers, like this weird, interesting ones. And I got one there. It's been years. It's probably been 10 years since I've been there, but they're giant. But I got one. They had waffles for the bun, and it was kind of good, but it tasted like maple syrup, and it threw me off when I'm trying to eat a burger, and it's maple syrup. I don't know. Anyway, right on, guys. I want to say thank you for hanging out. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for talking about sharpening and chisels and burgers. And I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to hang out here. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. I really would appreciate it. Yeah. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week and have an awesome weekend. We're coming up on, here in the U.S., the 4th of July is what? 2 weeks away? Next week. 2 weeks. I don't know, but it's coming up. So, yeah. Barbarian says, peace out. Neptune says, have a great day. Raylan says, have a great week. Neptune says, KK says, bye. Cheers, all from Harry Dude. KK says, have a nice day, brother. See you, Jeff. Right on, guys. Thanks again. I appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys next week. Next week, we'll be live over on the old FB. So, I wish you all the best. Stay safe. Get out there in your shops. Work on making something, whatever it is. Enjoy your time.